Okay, so let's start our conversation on the internet. We're going to look at, some figures and then see how we can translate it to societal development. Before I go on and give you all of the details that I have, let me introduce you to the two people that I'm going to have this conversation with. I'll probably be joined on the line by someone else, but in the meantime, let me show you who I've got in the studio. Guess who? If we're going to talk about tech, you do know that here at JoyNews, we certainly won't leave out Kobe Nkrumah. He's a geek and he's host of the Geek Squad on Joy FM. Hey, Kobe, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, so Kobe, as you also know, is a tech analyst, but I have here also Dr. Rabiu Asante. Dr. Rabiu Asante is a sociologist. He teaches at the University of Ghana, but he's also got a special focus on technology and society. So we're not just looking at the technology, we're looking at the technology and how it translates to society. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Gifty.
Okay, so let's get the conversation going. Now, in the year 2000, access to the internet was expensive and significantly limited. Now, those were the days when the internet cafe business, as you know, boomed. I'm sure that you took a couple of, did a couple of things there. Even that, only 30,000 Ghanaians were able to access the internet. This was in 2000. It's been 19 solid years since then, and as many as 10 million more people in Ghana, in fact more than 10 million people, have access to the internet according to Internet World Statistics. Now the growth is 33,000% in less than 20 years. Today the internet cafe business has significantly reduced because people are able to access the internet on their mobile phones. In fact, you get it anywhere. And many more Ghanaians are, as a result, engaged in the internet, having social media conversations, buying, selling items on e-commerce sites, or simply engaging in national discourse on social media. Sometimes they're blogging about matters of concern, some are slaying themselves all over the place. Well, some also go on to talk about security personnel, safety, management of the economy, and of course, entertainment. But how can we apply the internet boom to accelerated national development? Are we on the internet for the right reasons? Today our biggest conversation is on the internet and whether or not we're taking advantage of the opportunities it's offering. We'll be joined, as I said, we've already been joined by those two, and I deliberately introduce them to you so we can just kickstart the conversation. Now, I'm going to start with you, Kobe. What are the statistics saying? Now, in my introduction, I indicated that we've moved up, from just about 30,000 to over 10 million.
Yeah.
Take us through. I mean, how did that even happen?
So basically, the ubiquity of mobile devices that has made internet available to everyone. Now, everyone and their child and their parent have mobile phones now. Even Market One also has a smartphone because, well, quote unquote.
When you say even the market woman, you have to be very careful. What do you mean by? So you basically mean that once upon a time, exactly, yes, the market is not necessarily the place where you have mobiles functioning that much. Because being used that much. But now, in fact, they have the most sophisticated mobile phones because they can afford it.
They can afford it, yes. Yeah. So, well, we are looking at what they're doing online, what everyone is doing online. At number one is Google. That goes without saying. Everyone who goes on the internet wants to search for something, wants to find something, and the largest search provider on the internet is Google.
Okay, so I need you to, you just jumped into this. I need you to give us a little bit of background of what information you're sharing with us
Okay,
now.
So this information is the websites and their rankings and how much time we spend on them, where the traffic is coming from. When I say traffic, where all the visitors are coming from, and what people do there, how much time they spend on it. And as you can see, it's been ranked according to the usage and how much people have been accessing these websites. And we have sites like Alexa, owned by Amazon, that does this. We have sites like SimilarWeb that also does this. So we're focusing on Ghana to see what Ghanaians do online, how much time they spend on each site, the page views and the percentage of traffic, and even the number of sites that link into these websites.
Okay, so let's get going on that.
So number one is Google, like I mentioned, searching the world's largest database for information. After that, you go to YouTube.
That's not so surprising, is it?
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not
because
really.
Even in the newsroom, we'll go like, oh, let's Google it.
It's become a verb.
Yeah.
So we Google it. And another verb is YouTubing. So someone will actually tell you can YouTube it.
Right.
Because you're looking for a video online, the largest resource for music videos, trailers, how to do videos, all on YouTube.
And in fact, you can do everything. You can learn how to do everything on YouTube.
Yes.
You can learn how to woo a girl or a boy. You can,
Yes.
I mean, from that to how to invest.
Exactly.
You can do all of that on YouTube.
But you have to be careful because that's someone's opinion.
Well,
I could come up with a way that I say, hey, this is how to invest your money, and you may lose a lot.
Oh, but of course, that's why there's common sense. You need to apply that.
Exactly. After which comes Ghana Web, is a news website,
Okay.
and then Facebook, social media behemoth that has come to rule.
So
all
based
of
on
us.
social Facebook, Robbie, I just want to find out quickly because the report that we have from Internet Well Stats say about over 40 million people of those who have access to internet in Ghana
Yes.
are using or doing Facebook
Yes.
most of the time. Is
Yes.
that corroborated
That
here?
is correct.
Right.
We have they spend about 9 minutes, 31 seconds on the website per session. So when I say per session, anytime someone logs onto Facebook, they spend about an average of 9 minutes, 31 seconds
Wow.
on the website.
Okay.
Now, Ghana Web people spend about 13 minutes, YouTube about 8 minutes, and Google about 8 minutes. So Facebook is beating Google and YouTube by a minute.
Okay.
When you're looking at how much time people spend. And then we have Yahoo, which obviously most people had their first email addresses from
On Yahoo. So that's the grandmother of email address.
But now you can see that the time people spend there is going down. It's just about 3 minutes people spend there. And then you have the localized google.com.gh, which is essentially Google but localized results.
Okay.
After which comes a betting website. Now, betting has become very, very, serious in Ghana.
Yeah.
People are betting a lot. I think I'll leave that to the sociologist to explain why people are betting.
Exactly, I'll put that down. So betting.
Yes.
So people are doing a lot of betting and people are doing a lot of social media. So with this betting, is it because they're advertising a lot more, or is it just that people want to bet?
I personally think it's economical.
You think so?
Yes.
I think it's a football. I think we're hyping football too much. And that's leading people to
imagine that you're passionate about football and then you're being promised something in return for supporting something that you're passionate about. I think people would actually do that.
Okay, well, let's go through the list again.
After that, you have Yen, which is also a news website, and then Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. And then we have Jumia, which is e-commerce, GHP, another news site, and then myjoyonline.com, Celebrity Buzz, Blogspot. And then this is what interested me. I started seeing links over here that are not websites actually.
Okay.
For a site like this or a link like this to show on this
what's
ranking,
this link?
AFRTRK.com.
Okay, what's that about?
So sometimes when you go to some of these free websites where people go to download movies and applications, there are these redirect links that take you out of your website.
Okay.
And sometimes you go to your browser and you're trying to search for something. It doesn't take you to Google, but it takes you to some other website. Sometimes some of these websites
they're like clones.
They've taken over your browser to replace your search engine or your
so am I
homepage.
correct when I say, Dr. Rabiu, let me bring you into the discussion at this point. At that point, would you say that it's some sort of cloning?
Yeah, I think it is because you are doing this not taking into consideration the fact that every freebie comes with some links.
There's no free lunch.
There's no free lunch online. Whatever you get for free, the owner of the page also is benefiting from your user access because he has access to where you're coming from, your search backgrounds, and uses these things as advertising tools to other agencies. So when you go on these pages, they also are hacking into your system.
Hacking into your system.
Basically, you are the product.
Yeah.
Okay, you're the product.
Yeah.
So it interests you, Spiky, because of this.
Yes, it means that we have a lot more people whose browsers have been hijacked and they do not know.
Yeah.
Oh wow! That's alarming.
Yeah.
So your browser. Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Let's go through the list.
So after that, we have lightdl.xyz, which is the mother. So when you go to a site like this, that takes you to some of these
cloned
sites because the place where you can download free movies and series and all that. After that, we have LiveScore, FlashScore, sports and football again.
Yeah.
And then researchgate.net. That's a social community for researchers.
Oh, at least people are reading.
finally something. So
I mean, Doc, you're coming from an academic, an academic environment. This certainly should please you that it's on the line.
Yeah, but I'm not so pleased that it's way down there. I think it's what,
number 20.
Number 20. It's number 20.
It should be in the top 10.
Really?
It should be in the top 10. You know.
Okay.
Live score is actually beating research.
Yeah, that's sad.
And then, as I mentioned, another one, popads.net. That means that pop-up ads. So you're going to free sites where you are the product. You'll be served with pop-up ads. Then we have another e-commerce site, and then we have something interesting.
Okay, you skipped something apparently, Spiky.
Oh, did I?
Oh yes. No, go up. Okay, you're not there yet apparently.
No.
Pop Arts, then there's Tonaton, which is of course an e-commerce
website, and then there's X videos,
which a lot of people were concerned about. In fact, my producer was telling me about this, and he said that he had gone through the list and seen that it looks like a lot of Ghanaians are looking out for porn.
Yes, at number 23.
Oh.
So in the top 30 things that we do online, porn comes in at number 23.
Okay, Doc, please note it because I'll come to you for a bit of
yeah.
analysis on that. So out of the top 30, you have porn in there.
Yes, and then we have live.com, which is a search engine from Microsoft.
Okay.
And then we have, another one.
Oh, then there's another porn.
Porn555.com. I have never heard of that.
Okay, so there's
That's number what?
That's number 25.
25. 23, 25.
It would interest you to note that of all these websites, people spend less than 10 minutes. No.
Okay.
Less than 10 minutes on these websites. But Flash Score, people spend about 15 minutes.
Flash Score. Okay, what does Flash Score do?
For football scores, live scores.
So people spend a lot of time there.
And on X videos, an average of 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
Yes, that's a whole lot of time.
That's much more than they spend on Facebook.
Facebook, on news sites.
That's alarming.
Wow, even much more than on ResearchGate.
Yeah.
People spend just 2 minutes on ResearchGate and they're gone.
No, this is not funny.
See why I said I was worried?
Exactly. We're laughing, but this is not funny.
This is very serious.
I mean, when you have porn site as the, I don't know, maybe we're exaggerating. Maybe we're making too much noise. Maybe if you take another country, for example, the United States, you would have more alarming statistics.
I knew this would come up. So we have the global results.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised to know that at number 7 is porn websites again.
Oh.
They're actually all the way at the top.
Yeah.
Number 7, number 9.
Number 7 is
and
Pornhub.
number 13.
Oh, we've got an audience in the studio. We've got no. This is a very interesting conversation. I think we should have it every day. I'm sure that my production team will agree with me that we should have this conversation every day. We know what Ghanaians are following.
Yeah.
So when you look at the global trends, porn is number 7.
Yes, number 7.
On the local
number
trend,
7, number 9, and number 13.
Number 7, number 9, number 13. So they're in the top what? Top 15.
Yeah, top 15.
Okay, let's finish with what you have, then we'll do the analysis.
Okay, so back to Ghana. After Porn555, we have Amazon, we have Peace FM Online, we have Instagram. It's amazing that Instagram is actually all the way down here at number 28.
Because a lot of people do Instagram.
Yeah, I'm surprised. And Twitter is at number 29. So Instagram is beating Twitter. We have Today TV Series, 2.com, Jambi Tracker, which is another tracking website that tracks your information. Empress, we have another porn website. So at number 33.
Okay, so I had no idea that was a porn site, but you knew, right?
Oh, it's a leak, so people post stuff. I don't want
I didn't say you do.
I mean, I'm not saying me, I'm just saying I don't think people should go there because it encourages them to do what they do, and I do not agree with what they do.
Well, hold on, I don't understand. Can you say that again?
EmpressLeak.biz is Ghana's biggest social leaks.
Leaks?
Yes. Leaks.
Okay.
So
and you
when
call
you
it
have
porn?
people leaking their
porn
videos.
Oh,
so like their personal videos that are leaked.
Right, okay.
They end up on that website.
Okay. So, interesting. It's, are we done?
Oh, there's a lot more, but we can end at number 35, which is Microsoft.com, Office.com.
Good.
At 35.
And
for Ghana, that's it.
This is interesting. And I think that you won't have enough time to digest all of that. So like I'm saying, my producer has taken note of it. I think we should continue this conversation tomorrow. But let's do some analysis on this. Now, what I'm seeing here, there's a big one on social media. Of course, Facebook seems to be beating everything else. Let's talk about Facebook. Can we have an idea Is it easy for you, Doc, for example, to understand why people would do Facebook? It is to me.
Well, number of things accounts for Facebook. First and foremost, we already know that is one of the oldest platforms for social media. And secondly, also the way it started. The focus was on using people's individual network base to build a connective base for everyone else.
Yeah.
Now, you know how in Ghana we say we live like a village.
Yeah.
We are eager to know the gossips. So initially it began as a gossip platform. So you share what you think is happening in your social space. Your friends are happy about it. They reshare with other people. And by the time you realize everybody else is aware, exactly,
and then it becomes a very big ball.
Yeah, and people tap into that information. So in the beginning, it was just a space for friends to meet.
Okay.
Then over the years, the originators of the idea now turned around to a business model.
Okay. I mean, but for those of us who are using it,
for us the users, the focus it's actually to be able to know from your friends, your family members.
So it establishes a community.
Yes.
So this is a community that you can easily, all you have to do is click, and you're on that community and you're interacting with people.
And that is just within some seconds. In the past, you need to walk to your friend's house to ask, oh, how are you doing? How was the day? Can I see what happened to you? Today, we share pictures and videos and audios of things that happened to us, even when we are not present.
Okay. And unfortunately, for example, the attack that happened in New Zealand, you had that gentleman streaming it online. And we don't encourage anybody to replay that, because basically the idea, the reason why they do that is to show it, blow it up for a lot of people to see. So if you continue sharing it, you're basically helping him with his manifesto, showing the rest of the world that this is what, empowering him basically. So Spikey, I'm going to come to you. You talk about the browsers that are being hijacked.
Yes.
How worried should we be as people who love our internet? We love, we've all seen this treasure and we're all exploiting, exploring, doing stuff. How should we be concerned, and how can we deal with this particular problem?
Okay, so when people's browsers get hijacked, there are a few things, there are a few risks. One, you could either just be served ads and the person is making money. That's not very dangerous. It's just that it makes your browsing very, very annoying.
Okay.
Secondly, the person could then install other gateway programs on your computer that can allow him to send in Trojan horses, viruses, malware, and even take advantage of your computer to mine cryptocurrency. Some can even use your computer as an army to attack another website.
Wow.
What we call distributed denial of service attacks.
Okay.
So if I have like 100,000 computers infected and I have control over them, when the person is not using, or even when they're using, I can amass all that power to attack a website I want to take down.
So how do you protect yourself from these websites?
An advice that most people would not take. Don't visit free websites.
Free websites,
as in going to look for free series, free movies to watch live football online.
But Doc, there are also free websites for books. We're talking about this the other time, and I'm referring to because he's in a class that I'm in where he's teaching us statistics. But there are also free websites that are not for movies, that are not for pornography. How about that?
Well, you see, the hook here is that no matter how free the platform promises to share stuff with you, it doesn't really mean it's really free. There's always an exchange of information. Okay. Because whenever you go online, you leave footprints of your activities.
Okay.
So if there's a bad personality within the midst of that group who wants to share that data with another organization, they can easily share it and they make money off you all the time.
Okay.
So free doesn't really mean that it's legit.
Free. Okay.
And also secured.
Okay.
Free can also mean that you are sharing data without you knowing what you're sharing.
Okay.
And as Kobe said earlier on, sometimes you find that people use your browsers, use these free items to have access to your computer. What it means that for whatever you have available in your computer is owned by them.
Well, of what benefits will it be?
So imagine you do online banking. You're the kind of person who can remember your passwords. So you say, okay, you know what, auto-save.
Okay.
So once I have access to your browser and I can actually hack your passwords, which can easily be done through Google, it means I can go online and bank your name.
Wow. So auto-save is something you would advise against, right?
Yes.
Both of you?
Yeah.
So
You should never do
autosave.
that. Don't ever say, you know what, save my password for me
Yeah.
and always use that password. No.
So it's best to click never when you get the option to autosave.
Exactly.
Okay, and it's best to stay away from free websites.
That's
Yes.
precisely
Okay.
trying to let
Okay.
you realize.
So I'd like for us to finish this conversation by touching on how we can harness the potential of the internet, you know, for national development. And I'm quite concerned that the list on the top of the list that we've seen, there is a lot of social media. And in terms of social media, we're looking at Facebook, which you've basically established that now, even though now there's a business model to it, it's more about community, gossips, conversations, family and friends. Then there is a betting. Betting, I'm not necessarily sure how healthy it is. Spiky is smiling because I'm sure you're going to argue that it's feeding the economy, but it's still betting, which I'm not sure is healthy. Then there is this part where most of us are visiting free websites and being at the risk of being hijacked, etc. And then there is the big, old, great, fantastic porn that most of us seems to be hooked on to. In fact, there are about 2 different porn sites for the Ghana one, and it appears at number 23 and number 25. Now, if you look at the international log, number 7, it is number 9, 7, 9, and 13. 7, 9, and 13. That's very interesting. When we come back, we want to talk about. I'm going to play for you a conversation that we've had, a conversation we've had with other people about this situation. And when we come back, we'll take the conversation further to how we can harness all of these to bring about national development. I mean, I don't know how porn can stimulate national development, but sex is what? Sex sells. Sex sells. Okay, so Spiky says sex sells. I don't know what you think, but you drop your thoughts on our social media platform, our Facebook platform. We'll be talking about that momentarily. Take a look at this conversation we had earlier.
To get behind the computer, I'm sure you have many thoughts running through your mind. What are you looking out for when you decide to log onto the internet, get onto a website? What do you choose to do? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or maybe you want to look up at something on governance or security or about the economy?
Okay, me, first of all, I check on Twitter because I follow most governance institutions. So I get the updates from those places, and also go to Facebook to check on friends, yeah. So those are the major sites I visit anytime I wake up in the morning.
Okay, so it's either Facebook or Twitter for you?
Yes.
I'm not that active on Facebook, but I'm very active on Instagram because I actually have 2 pages there where I build my content each and every day. And so I do more Instagram than Facebook. Okay. Yes.
So for you, even when you get on Instagram, it's more for work?
Yes, most definitely. I feel that, first of all, if someone, the data or bundle being used is for the person, okay, and they would want to use it for something that entertains them. But then aside that too, it's also about the agenda for the day. Mostly we have lots of news coming from the showbiz aspect much more than we get from the governance and politics. Yeah, they do come, but it's not as popular as what we hear in the showbiz. So when the individual goes there, they always want to go for people they always hear of, talk of the Dumelos and whatnot. They always want to see something about entertainment.
Which websites do you love to visit? Which one would you visit early in the morning when you wake up? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or is it governance website?
I'm only active on Facebook. Okay. But going to other websites, I switch to Joy Online, I go to City FM Online, and other platforms to check what is trending in our world today.
We just heard from our first batch of respondents. Now let's hear from the second batch. Well, they are quite addicted to, their social media, pages. Talk about Twitter, talk about Facebook, talk about Snapchat. They know it all. So I wouldn't pretend as if I know more than they do. They're going to tell us why they always choose to be on these websites. And I'm not really perturbed about anything governance, anything security, anything about, the economy. Let me start off with you first of all, Humu.
Instagram.
Instagram. Yes. Why Instagram?
Okay, for me, it's easily accessible. You can access any information you want on Instagram easily. You don't need to go through password, whatever. No, it's very accessible. You just, because you log into your account and it's on your phone, all you need to tap and then it takes you straight, enter the person's name, the one you want to search, or the information you are looking for.
If you're searching a website like myjoyonline.com, that shouldn't be difficult for you on your phone, on your Android phone, is it?
No, it isn't. It clearly isn't.
Now, why do you choose Instagram over, let's say, a website that talk about governance or security or the economy, for instance?
Okay, for me, social media websites is not boring. It's actually fun being on social media. You get to see what people are doing and what they're about. But then government institution websites, to me, is so boring. It's always one way, like the same old story.
I choose Instagram because I think it's very easy to get contact with old friends. Okay. And then the kind of information about government they put over there is spiced up.
So when was the last time you visited a news website? Can you remember?
I think I did that last week Thursday because it was an assignment. I only visit, to be very honest, I only visit these websites because of assignments. If not for assignments, I won't go there. I just go and do copy and paste of, yes, I just do copy and paste of the news I want, edit it, and then paste it. My lecture shouldn't come for me, please.
Interesting, Stella. Let me find out from you the arts. Okay, so you are interested in arts, you told me, but you're also not really interested in news, anything about news, governance, security, economy. Like, you're not really interested in that.
I'm interested in those stuff too.
Oh, you are? Yeah, okay, but which websites do you visit most?
Twitter. Twitter is why I visit.
Why Twitter?
Well, Twitter is like a point where all the news I'm interested in converge. So I would say when I log on to Twitter, I just refresh my timeline. And if I'm following JoyNews, whatever they post, I see. Any other news outlet, whatever they post, I see. So when I go to the news website, I will be limited to just one news outlet. And then I can follow different variety of news also. So it's just based on my discretion and what I deem convenient. Yes.
Which websites you frequent? Maybe. Can you give us like 4 of them? Which websites?
Okay, I think Instagram, Snapchat, Wattpad. And then Wattpad here is a website purposely for books. You go there, search the author you want, and then the person's books comes, and then you read.
Okay, 4 websites. So Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, and then Telegram.
All social media?
Yes, all social. I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm addictive or I'm addicted to it, but I just like it.
You just like it?
Yeah.
Makes you happy?
It makes me happy.
Okay. Instagram and Facebook, those are the 3 I frequent a lot. So.
Okay. Twitter, Instagram, and then Facebook?
Yes.
No news website?
Yeah, maybe Live Score, because I want to...
Live Score, that's football!
Yeah, it's still news. As I said, it's based on my discretion, so yeah. I get to see all other government news stories too on Twitter, so I wouldn't bother Googling it, so yeah.
Wow.
None of them spoke about the porn sites. None of them spoke about betting, even though most of them spoke about, football. Yeah, but they didn't speak about betting and the porn site. But, well, the details are there to prove that y'all are doing porn. Okay. but my guests agree that we may not be able to finish this conversation today. We'll probably continue tomorrow and look much more, get much more into details about how we can redirect all of these energies into something that is actually beneficial. I mean, not just sexually beneficial, but something that is developmental, something that will help us as a country, will help your individual development to make you, a better person, basically. So let's see how we can wrap up today. Tomorrow, Doc will join us via Skype. Spiky will be here with all the spikes in his hair, and then we'll continue that conversation. But Spiky, you were telling me something before we left about further. You were giving me a bit more details about that information that you showed us, in terms of the trends. Could you go over that for me?
Okay, so when you go to back to Alexa, you see how many, it gives you more information, because we're talking about how much people were very interested in the porn websites. When you go to X videos, the breakdown shows that daily page views per visitor is 10.70. Now that is very interesting.
What does that mean?
The person visits at least an average of 10 pages on that website. And 10 pages, imagine that you open a book, you flip through 10 pages. That is how many pages they've gone to on websites.
But
and
yeah, it also shows that it has dropped.
Yeah, it has dropped
slightly.
by 0.09%.
Okay, what does that mean? It means that people are no longer...
Well, it used to be quite popular maybe a day ago.
So it's losing its popularity.
Well, you can
that's
see
good.
that the graph is coming down.
Okay, so but the graph also tells a story. So as of April 2018, a lot more people were doing porn.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the graph says.
Okay, and then by July, October, does it have something to do with the CD's performance? Because it looks
it looks quite similar.
Because to be honest, it's beginning to
data. Data has become more expensive, so the interest is going down.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's the trend, isn't it? Even though the CD goes so it was down and then it was going up, which is the bad news. This good news is that it's up and it's going down.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's two ways.
I mean, this is not scientific, please.
No,
this is just me saying.
But actually, you could actually extend that to the cost in data now.
Yes. The cost in data
a year ago was actually lower than it is today.
Okay.
So probably that could account for what we are seeing this trend.
Okay.
Because it is video. And video is a lot of data.
You spend more money to that.
Okay.
So it's gone down by 14.90%. Now you see the keywords that people use to find stuff on X videos. They either search for X videos or X video without the S, XNXX, Pornhub, and Chatterbait. So those are the search queries that take them to X videos.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And we really need to direct this conversation because it's taking us a very interesting part, but we need to redirect it. Like I'm saying, we need to look at how we can harness the power of the internet. Now, Doc, you talked about the cost of data, which is very interesting. A lot of people have said, people make generalized statements and say, everybody is on the internet now. Everybody is, but there are concerns that need to be addressed about the access to internet. Because if we are able to find how good the internet can be as far as development is concerned, then we can begin to talk about the cost, especially for people in the villages, etc. What kind of conversation can we have about cost of internet in relation to development?
All right, so the first thing is that even the idea that everybody is on the internet is really erroneous, because first and foremost, data shows that only 32 Ghanaian adults are actually online. 32% of Ghanaian adults are actually online.
Okay.
And when you check the background of these Ghanaians, a lot of them are educated. So what it means, therefore, is that the larger chunk of Ghanaians are not online.
Okay.
But the interesting about our society is that we live in a society that people rely on information from other people. So if you know someone who is connected, whatever he tells you or she tells you, you take that as a gospel truth.
Okay.
So in most cases, these 32 individuals who are online are the ones who are again spreading the information they get from these online sources. So if the cost of internet could be reduced per the kind of cost we are currently engaged with now, you would probably would think that people will be more will embrace this technology at a much faster rate than we are currently embracing it. And when you cast your mind back to the data that exists on Ghana, the period that Ghana had a boom internet access was when cost was actually at the very lowest level in Africa. In 2008 or 10 thereabouts, Ghana was then seen to be the least expensive cost
when it comes to internet.
Bandwidth.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of bandwidth across West Africa. Ghana had the lowest cost at the time. Then in 2012, this ballooned due to the taxes we were having on we were placed on telcos at the time.
Okay.
And now it is even much higher than it used to be.
So what you're saying, if I get you right, is that a lot of people were now relying on the internet for their communications because normal phone calls became much more expensive
in that regard. But even to add on to that is the fact that what spearheaded this change in access was the cost. Initially, when it was less expensive, we had more people, getting access to the internet at a time.
Okay.
Prior to that, we had only about 4% of adults who actually use internet in those days. Then, when the cost reduced drastically, jumped to 14%, which is about what? 3 times what it used to be initially. So, which means there's some correlation between cost and access.
Okay.
So if we could work on the cost bit, we might be able to get more people to use the internet.
And getting more people on the internet, I think about last month, Rwanda was looking at how to get internet access to schools in rural communities, which is something that here in Ghana we should perhaps be focusing on, but it boils down to the cost. But isn't it that, well, how can the government step in to bridge this gap? I mean, in terms of extending internet access, especially to people in the rural community, so that they can learn, and working on the cost. Is the government in charge, in control of that?
Yeah, so the government can have control over these things all the time. You know, in the past, we used to have what we call the Technology Assessment Project, TAP, which was managed by the UN and also ITU at the time. And TAP was managing projects, many projects in rural areas, where they had these vans that had access to internet using satellite. Yeah. So school children, the community go through this particular van to learn some few skills on using computers and also using the internet. We don't seem to see more of these things anymore, but I think these are things that we could actually invest in. For areas that we don't have access to electricity, access to signal strength in terms of our mobile phones, for example, we could use a satellite mode to access some of these things, to bridge the gap between those who have and those who don't have in terms of the access disparity.
To internet.
And the other thing too is that, you know, the NSA, for example, floats out some kind of spectrum. So, for example, the 5G network that is yet to come. We could have a small component that actually will ask agencies that win these bets to adopt communities that are far off and use them as model cases.
This is I think this is a conversation we should, push more into tomorrow. I think it will be very interesting. So we direct that conversation, towards what we want to achieve. This is just about education. Tomorrow we can look at what we can do in terms of agriculture, in terms of your personal development. But let's wrap up this conversation. I've already run out of time, and I'm yet to give you an update on Tripoli. But what are people talking about today? The trends. What are they saying today?
So on Twitter, we have people talking about the taxi driver show. Okay. Hashtag African History Class. Hashtag Shouts on Why. Hashtag Africa Climate Week. Brush Day and Night. Simeon Lampard, Usubempa, and then Ghana and the city.
And then the city. So the city is, I think, a couple of weeks ago, the city was at the top. Yeah. And it's come all the way down. People are just tired. And but over the weekend, one of the things that my producer was sharing with me was that people were talking about Messi. A lot of people were talking about Messi, and he was thinking, well, we have a lot of issues to deal with. In fact, when it comes to security, we have a lot of issues. Why aren't people talking about security? Why are they talking about Messi? So again, it comes back to sociology, right? Yeah. People are much more interested in things that won't make them that won't make them worry. That won't make them depressed. People want to talk about the lighter things, and looks like that's what the trends are telling us. Unfortunately, I have to wrap up this conversation, and I feel like crying right now about this because it's been a very interesting conversation. We also had the head of research of communication, Derek Lai. This is actually with the telecoms chamber. We'll be engaging him as well. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now because of time. We'll be engaging with him, with Spiky, and with Dr. Rabiu again on this subject tomorrow. But don't go without taking these home. That there's so much that you can do with the internet, so much that you can do for your personal development. What I'm knowing today is that a lot of us are using the internet for social conversations, social connections. A lot of us are betting. A lot of us are going on free websites, downloading things which are basically like piracy, and a lot of us are also doing pornography. Tomorrow we'll get more into the developmental bit of it. It's been a very interesting conversation, and gentlemen, it wouldn't have been this interesting without you. Spiky Kobin Nkrumah is my colleague here at JoyNews, and you know that he's a geek. He's also host of the Geek Squad. Dr. Rabiu Asante is a sociologist. He's into data analysis, is into technology and how it relates to society. So tomorrow we'll be engaging him. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Spikey, you look like you wanted to say something. Did you?
It's done.
It's done. Okay, so that's it for our conversation on the internet.